February 5th, 2026, 3:20 in the afternoon. The waters of the Persian Gulf are calm. Too calm. Somewhere in international waters, the USS Abraham Lincoln, America's most lethal nuclear-powered supercarrier, cuts through the ocean like a silent giant. On board, 5,000 souls. Below deck, enough firepower to level a nation. Above deck, 40 F/A-18 Super Hornets, gleaming in the sun, worth nearly $3 billion combined. But in exactly 19 minutes, this flight deck will become a graveyard. Because right now, racing toward this floating fortress at low altitude, are 4 Iranian MI-17 transport helicopters. Inside them, 32 men, elite commandos, Revolutionary Guard, armed to the teeth, Hawk to 103 rifles, RPG-7 rocket launchers, grenades, C4 explosives, and a mission so insane, so audacious, that even mentioning it sounds like fiction. They're not coming to negotiate. They're not coming to observe. They're coming to capture the Abraham Lincoln from the inside. And for the next 19 minutes, the world will witness something unprecedented in modern naval warfare. A battle so brutal, so one-sided, so absolutely devastating that it will be studied in military academies for generations. This is the story of Operation Deck Clearance. This is the story of how Iran tried to hijack an American aircraft carrier, and how every single attacker was eliminated in less time than it takes to watch a TV episode. Welcome to the most catastrophic military failure in Iranian history. Let's rewind the clock. February 2nd, 2026, 72 hours before hell breaks loose. Deep inside Tehran, behind blast-proof walls and armed checkpoints, sits the Revolutionary Guard Strategic Command Center. Cold concrete, dim lighting, maps covering every surface. And in the center of it all, General Hossein Rahmani, Iran's most decorated special operations commander. He's about to pitch the most daring and reckless military operation in modern Middle Eastern history. Standing before Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei and a council of hard-faced military advisors, Rahmani unrolls a satellite photograph. It shows the USS Abraham Lincoln, a black and white image captured just 48 hours prior. Supreme Leader, Rahmani begins, his voice steady, calculated. The Americans sail their carrier in our Gulf, 60 miles from our coast. They mock us with their presence. They threaten our sovereignty. Khamenei leans forward. What do you propose, General? Rahmani taps the photograph. I propose we take it. Silence. One advisor laughs nervously. Another shakes his head. Khamenei's expression doesn't change. Explain, the Supreme Leader commands. And Rahmani does. 4 helicopters. Mi-17 transport models. Civilian frequency. Emergency distress call. Mechanical failure. Request emergency landing. Maritime law requires they assist us. Even enemy aircraft. He pauses, letting it sink in. We land on their flight deck. 32 of our best commandos jump out. Overwhelm the flight crew before they understand what's happening. Destroy the parked aircraft. Seize the control tower. Take 5,000 Americans hostage. And suddenly, the most powerful warship on Earth belongs to us. Another silence. Longer this time. Finally, Khamenei speaks. And if they kill your men before they succeed, Rahmani doesn't blink. Then they die as martyrs. But if we succeed, the humiliation to America will be historic, global, permanent. Khamenei studies him for a long minute. Then, you have authorization. But understand this. General failure means more than death. It means shame for you, for Iran, for our cause. Rahmani salutes. We will not fail, but he's wrong. So catastrophically, horrifically wrong. The next 72 hours are a blur of preparation. 32 volunteers are selected from Iran's elite Revolutionary Guard units. These aren't ordinary soldiers. They're fanatics, True believers. Men who've trained their entire adult lives for asymmetric warfare, urban combat, close quarters battle, sabotage. They're told the mission is suicide. Every single one volunteers anyway. The training is intense. Rapid helicopter insertion drills, aircraft sabotage techniques, control tower assault simulations. Everything practiced on mock-ups of American carrier decks, built from stolen blueprints and satellite imagery. They practice for 48 hours straight. No sleep, no breaks. Just repetition until the movements become muscle memory. Their commander is Lieutenant Colonel Abbas Hosseini, a veteran of Syria, Yemen, and Lebanon. A man with a reputation for brutality and tactical brilliance. He gathers his men the night before the mission. Tomorrow, he tells them, we make history. We will land on the deck of the world's most powerful warship. We will kill Americans. We will destroy their aircraft. We will capture their carrier. And if we die doing it, he grins. Then we die as legends. The men cheer. They have no idea they're about to become cautionary tales. Meanwhile, aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, Captain Michael Harrison, a 30-year Navy veteran with silver hair and sharp blue eyes, stands on the bridge, scanning the horizon. The Lincoln is conducting freedom of navigation operations, basically sailing wherever the hell they want to prove international waters belong to everyone, not just Iran. Captain, his executive officer says, approaching with a tablet. Intelligence reports increased Iranian activity. Fast boats, surveillance aircraft. They're definitely watching us. Harrison nods. Expected. We're 60 miles from their coast. They're going to posture. Let them. But he's not taking chances. Alert all security teams. Marines on standby. Flight operations continue, but I want armed personnel on deck at all times. Anything unusual, I want to know immediately. Yes, sir. Harrison stares out at the calm water. Something feels off. He just doesn't know what yet. February 5th, 2026, 1 p.m. 4 Iranian MI-17 helicopters lift off from a military airfield near Bandar Abbas. Each carries 8 commandos, weapons, explosives, and enough ammunition for a small war. They fly low, 50 feet above the water, radar evading altitude, heading southwest, straight toward the Abraham Lincoln. Inside the lead helicopter, Lieutenant Colonel Hosseini checks his watch. 40 minutes to target. His men are silent, focused, weapons checked and rechecked. Some pray quietly. Others stare at nothing, visualizing the assault. One young commando, barely 22 years old, looks nervous. Hosseini notices. Scared? He asks. The kid nods. Good, Hosseini says. Fear keeps you sharp. But remember, we have Allah on our side. And surprise. The Americans won't know what hit them. The kid nods again, gripping his AK-103 tighter. He has 19 minutes to live. At 3 p.m., the helicopters slow down. They're now 15 kilometers from the carrier, close enough to see it on the horizon. A massive gray behemoth, bristling with antennas and aircraft. Hosseini receives final authorization via encrypted radio. Proceed. Declare emergency. Execute mission. May Allah protect you. He signals the pilots. The helicopters accelerate. 3:15 p.m. Air contacts. 4 helicopters bearing northeast, range 10 kilometers, closing fast. The call echoes to the Abraham Lincoln's Combat Information Center. Captain Harrison appears instantly. Iranian? Yes, sir. Military markings. Mi-17 transport models. Weapons status? All defensive systems active, sir. We can shoot them down on your command. Harrison hesitates. 4 helicopters. Unarmed transports. Could be reconnaissance. Could be harassment. But shooting them down without provocation would be an international incident. Track them. but hold fire unless they show hostile intent. Yes, sir. 3 minutes later, the radio crackles. Mayday, mayday, mayday. The voice is panicked, desperate. This is Iranian military helicopter, experiencing multiple engine failures, hydraulics failing, 4 helicopters affected, requesting immediate emergency landing permission. Abraham Lincoln, please respond. The air boss, the officer controlling flight deck operations, looks at Harrison. Captain, they're declaring an emergency. Maritime law. I know the law, Harrison snaps. But 4 helicopters? Simultaneous mechanical failures? That's statistically impossible. Could be sabotage, sir. Or coordinated equipment malfunction. Harrison's gut screams trap. But refusing emergency landing assistance violates international maritime conventions. If those helicopters crash, and people die because he refused to help, clear the landing area. Allow them to land. But security teams on full alert. Marines ready. If anything, and I mean anything, looks wrong, weapons free. Yes, sir. The trap is set. And America is about to walk right into it. 3:20 p.m. 4 Iranian helicopters descend onto the USS Abraham Lincoln's flight deck. 120 flight deck crew members watch them land. Mechanics, refuelers, air traffic controllers, most unarmed. Those who are armed carry sidearms 9mm pistols meant for self-defense, not combat. 20 armed security personnel stand at the perimeter, M4 rifles held low. Alert, suspicious, but following orders. The helicopters touch down, engines running, rotors spinning. For 5 seconds, nothing happens. Then the doors explode open. 32 men in black tactical gear pour out like a flood. Hulk 203 rifles raised, RPG-7 launchers over shoulders, grenades in hands, and they start shooting. Immediately, the first burst of gunfire cuts down 6 sailors before anyone can react. Blood sprays across the deck. Bodies drop. Pandemonium erupts. Lieutenant Colonel Hosseini is first out, screaming orders in Farsi. Kill the Americans. Destroy the aircraft. Take the tower. His commandos spread out with terrifying efficiency. 8 peel left toward the control tower. 8 sprint toward the parked FA-18 Super Hornets, pulling grenades and explosives. 8 secure the landing zone, using the helicopters as cover. 8 more engage the flight deck crew directly, firing controlled bursts, hunting anyone in uniform. It's coordinated, professional, deadly. For exactly 15 seconds, the Iranians have total surprise, but 15 seconds is all they get. Because the moment bullets start flying, 20 armed security personnel return fire. M4 rifles crack, 9mm pistols bark. Sailors dive behind aircraft. Some grab wrenches, fire extinguishers, anything, and charge the commandos with nothing but rage and adrenaline. And below deck, alarms scream. Hostile forces on flight deck. All Marines to arms. Repeat, hostile forces on flight deck. 180 United States Marines hear that call, and they respond. 3:20 p.m. and 30 seconds. Lieutenant Jake Mitchell, Marine Security Commander, is in the mess hall when the alarm hits. He's on his feet instantly. Marines, gear up now. 60 seconds later, 12 Marines storm onto the flight deck. M4 rifles up, grenades ready. What they see stops them for half a heartbeat. Bodies everywhere, blood pooling. Iranian commandos firing between aircraft. Explosions, smoke, chaos. Mitchell doesn't hesitate. Engage, protect the carrier. His Marines open fire. 3-round bursts, controlled, accurate, professional. 2 Iranian commandos drop immediately, heads snapping back, rifles clattering. The Iranians return fire. RPG-7 rockets screaming past Mitchell's head, exploding against a bulkhead. Spread out. Use the aircraft as cover. Flank them. The Marines move like a machine. Fire teams coordinating. Overlapping fields of fire. Grenades lobbed into Iranian positions. And more Marines keep coming. 30 seconds later, another squad arrives. Then another. Then the entire company, 168 Marines, armed, angry, and hunting. 8 Iranian Commandos reach the base of the carrier's control tower, the island superstructure rising 7 stories above the flight deck. This is their primary objective. Control the tower, control the ship's communications, radar, flight operations. Make the carrier blind and deaf. Lieutenant Javad Kermani leads the assault team. He's done this 100 times in training. Breach, clear, advance. Simple. Except nothing about this is simple anymore. They storm up the steel stairwell, boots clanging. Kermani throws a flashbang grenade ahead. Bang, the explosion echoes in the confined space. They round the corner. 10 sailors are barricaded behind overturned desks, filing cabinets, anything they could grab. Some have pistols. Most have nothing but fire extinguishers and wrenches. Back! Get back! One sailor screams. Kermani raises his AK-103. But before he can fire, the sailor sprays him with a fire extinguisher white foam, exploding everywhere, blinding the commandos. Now, lock the door. The sailors slam and lock the reinforced door to the control room. It's designed to withstand fire, explosions, and forced entry. Kermani wipes foam from his eyes, cursing. Blow the door. One commando pulls C4 from his pack, starts molding it to the hinges. But then, from below, contact rear. Lieutenant Mitchell's Marines have caught them. 12 Marines climbing the opposite stairwell, catching the Iranians between floors. It's a kill box. Mitchell doesn't give orders, doesn't need to. His Marines open fire from below, bullets punching upward, ricocheting off steel walls. The confined stairwell amplifies every shot into a deafening roar. Kermani spins, firing down at the Marines. Hold them, blow the door. But the Marines throw grenades. 2 fragmentation grenades bounce up the stairs, clink, 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 grenade. Boom, boom. The explosion shreds 2 commandos instantly. Blood sprays the walls. Body parts tumble down the stairs. The remaining 6 Iranians fire desperately. 1 Marine takes a round to the shoulder, spinning backward. But the Americans don't retreat. They advance. Mitchell leads the charge, firing as he climbs. Push, push. Clear the tower. It's brutal, close range. No room to maneuver. Just violence. 3 minutes of hell. When the smoke clears, all 8 Iranian commandos are dead. Bullet-riddled, grenade-shredded, stairwell painted red. Cost: 4 Marines wounded. 2 sailors killed defending the door. But the tower is secure. Mitchell keys his radio, breathing hard. Control tower secure. 8 hostiles eliminated. Continuing deck clearance. Copy that, Lieutenant. Well done. 3:23 p.m. While the tower assault rages, 8 Iranian commandos are methodically destroying America's most advanced fighter jets. Corporal Ahmad Basir moves between parked Fi-18 Super Hornets like a shadow.
Tanker
Each
2 is
aircraft
approaching Charlie 8.
costs $70 million.
Acknowledged. Timeline remains
Each
green for
represents
rendezvous.
years of engineering, training, American pride. He plants C4 on landing gear, fires RPG-7 rockets into cockpits, stuffs grenades into engine intakes. Boom. Cockpit shatters. Boom. Engine explodes. Boom. Landing gear collapses. 4 Fa-18s critically damaged in 2 minutes. Nearly $300 million in destruction. Basir grins. This is working. They're actually... Drop your weapon, he spins. 20 sailors, armed with M4 rifles, have flanked his position, using the aircraft he's destroying as cover. Chief Petty Officer Marcus Williams steps forward, rifle aimed at Basir's chest. I said drop it. Basir looks at his AK-103, then at the 20 barrels pointed at him. He drops the rifle. For 1 second, Williams thinks he's surrendering. Then the seer pulls the pin on a grenade. Allahu Akbar! Williams fires crack headshot. The seer drops. The grenade bounces twice. Grenade! Move! 20 sailors scatter. Boom! The explosion tears through the flight deck. Shrapnel shreds metal. But the sailors were fast enough. No casualties. Williams gets to his feet, ears ringing. These bastards aren't taking prisoners. Neither are we. Weapons free. Kill every hostile on sight. The remaining 7 commandos sabotaging aircraft realize they're surrounded, cut off, trapped between parked jets with armed sailors on all sides. They fight anyway. Fire erupts across the flight deck. Bullets ricochet off aircraft hulls. Fuel lines rupture, leaking JP-5 jet fuel. One spark and the entire deck becomes an inferno. But the sailors are fighting for their home, their carrier, their brothers. They advance relentlessly. One Iranian tries to run. 6 bullets drop him. Another takes cover behind an F-18. Marines throw a grenade underneath. BOOM. Problem solved. By 3:26 p.m., all 8 commandos sabotaging aircraft are dead. Cost: 3 sailors killed, 8 wounded, 4 FA-18s destroyed. But the flight deck is being reclaimed, inch by bloody inch. 3:27 p.m., Lieutenant Colonel Hosseini crouches behind a fuel truck, bleeding from a shoulder wound, watching his mission collapse. Of 32 commandos, only 16 remain alive. The helicopters are bullet-riddled wrecks. The pilots are dead. The tower assault failed. Aircraft sabotage stopped. And now, 180 United States Marines surround his position from every direction. He keys his radio, hoping for support, reinforcements, anything. Static. Iran isn't coming. He looks at his surviving men. 16 faces, young, old, all accepting what comes next. Brothers, he says quietly, we will not leave this carrier alive, but we will make them remember this day. We fight to the last man. We take as many as we can with us, and we die as martyrs. They nod. One young commando, the same kid from the helicopter, grips his rifle. Commander, was it worth it? Hosseini meets his eyes. History will decide. Then he stands, raising his AK-103. Allahu Akbar. His men echo him. Allahu Akbar. They form a defensive circle between parked aircraft. 360-degree coverage. Overlapping fields of fire. Professional. Disciplined. Ready to die. Captain Rodriguez, Marine Company commander, observes from 50 yards away. 6'3", built like a tank. 20 years in the Corps, he's seen a lot of combat. But never on a carrier flight deck surrounded by billions in aircraft and thousands of gallons of jet fuel. He calls out via loudspeaker, Iranian forces, drop your weapons. Hands up, surrender now, and you will be treated according to Geneva Conventions. Hosseini's response is immediate. He pulls a grenade, yanks the pin, and hurls it. Boom. 2 Marines wounded. Rodriguez's jaw tightens. Message received. He keys his radio. All units, prepare for final assault. Fragmentation grenades on my mark. Then rush. No prisoners. 60 Marines position themselves in a circle around the Iranian position. Each pulls a grenade. Rodriguez raises his fist. Mark. 60 arms throw simultaneously. 60 grenades arc through the air. Hosseini sees them coming, realizes what's about to happen. He closes his eyes. Forgive me, Allah. Boom, 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 boom. 60 explosions in 3 seconds. The combined blasts create a shockwave that rattles the entire flight deck. Shrapnel screams in every direction. Smoke billows. When it clears, the Iranian defensive position is shredded. Bodies torn apart. Equipment destroyed. Blood everywhere. But some are still moving. Rodriguez stands. Assault, assault, assault. 180 Marines charge from all sides, firing, throwing more grenades. Overwhelming violence. The remaining Iranians fight back with everything they have. Bullets, grenades, knives, fists. It's hand-to-hand. Brutal. Medieval. A Marine tackles a commando. They roll across the deck, punching, gouging. Another Marine uses his rifle as a club, smashing an Iranian skull. A commando stabs a Marine in the leg. The Marine shoots him point blank. It's chaos, fury, violence in its rawest form. But the outcome is inevitable. 16 Iranians. 180 Marines. The math doesn't lie. 3:30 p.m. Silence. The last Iranian commando, a 20-year-old kid with 3 bullet wounds, tries to crawl away. A Marine steps on his rifle, kicks it away. The kid looks up, blood bubbling from his mouth. Please. The Marine raises his M4. One shot. 3:35 p.m. Captain Harrison receives the report. Sir, flight deck secure. All hostile forces eliminated. 32 attackers. 32 confirmed kills. 0 escaped. 0 prisoners. Harrison closes his eyes briefly. Our casualties? 12 Marines Kia. 24 wounded. 27 sailors Kia. 38 wounded. 4 FA-18s destroyed. But the carrier is operational, sir. Flight deck secure. Harrison nods slowly. Prepare casualty reports. Contact families. And I want those Iranian helicopters secured for intelligence analysis. Yes, sir. But Harrison isn't done. Alert Strike Group Commander. I want immediate retaliation authorization. Sir, they attacked my carrier. They killed my crew. We respond. Now. 3:40 p.m. 24 FA-18 Super Hornets launch from the Abraham Lincoln's catapults. Below deck aircraft. Armed with precision-guided munitions. Their targets. 3 Iranian military installations. The helicopter base where the MI-17s launched. The Revolutionary Guard Command Center that planned the operation. The training facility where the commandos prepared. Intelligence identified them within minutes of the assault. Now they burn. 3:55 p.m. The first wave hits. 96 precision bombs strike simultaneously. The helicopter base erupts in flames. Hangars collapse. Aircraft vaporize. The command center 3 stories of reinforced concrete pancakes into rubble. Everyone inside dies instantly. The training facility disintegrates. Mock carrier decks, barracks, classrooms, all gone. Total casualties. 347 Iranian military personnel. Complete destruction. 4 p.m. 40 minutes after the assault began. The USS Abraham Lincoln's flight deck is a scene of controlled chaos. Medical teams treat wounded. Body bags line the deck. American and Iranian. Marines patrol with weapons ready, ensuring no threats remain. And in the center of it all, 4 bullet-riddled Iranian helicopters sit like monuments to failure. Captain Harrison stands at the edge of the flight deck, looking out at the Gulf. His executive officer approaches. Sir, Iranian government is demanding we return their remains and the helicopters. Harrison doesn't turn. Tell them to come get them. Sir, they attacked my ship, my crew. If they want their dead back, they can sail out here and retrieve them. Under white flag, unarmed. That's unprecedented, sir. Harrison finally looks at him. So was landing on my flight deck and trying to hijack my carrier. Unprecedented gets unprecedented. February 5th, 2026 will be remembered as one of the most catastrophic military failures in Iranian history. 32 elite commandos, hand-picked, trained for months, armed with the best weapons Iran could provide, all dead in 19 minutes. 0 escaped, 0 surrendered, 0 succeeded. The plan was audacious. Land on the carrier deck, overwhelm the crew, seize control, hold thousands hostage, force American surrender. It failed for 7 reasons. 1. The flight deck had 120 sailors, 20 armed, all fought back immediately. 2. 180 Marines were aboard, combat ready, responded in seconds. 3. Internal security cameras tracked every commando. No hiding, no surprise. 4. The commandos were surrounded by 5,000 angry Americans. Nowhere to run. 5. FA-18s worth $70 million each. Americans defended them viciously. 6. Control tower had 50 caliber machine guns overlooking the deck. Devastating. 7. You don't attack a U.S. carrier and survive. Ever. The Iranian government publicly denied involvement. Privately, General Ramani was executed for failure. The supreme leader never mentioned the operation again. And the USS Abraham Lincoln? She continued operations. Flight deck repaired. Aircraft replaced. Mission uninterrupted. Because that's what American carriers do. They don't surrender. They don't retreat. They don't forgive. 19 minutes. 32 attackers. 32 dead. That's the message. That's the lesson. That's what happens when you land on an American carrier deck with hostile intent. You die. Quickly. Completely. Without exception. Operation deck clearance. 19 minutes that proved why no one attacks American warships. And lives to tell about it.